It was supposed to be an ordinary night, another quiet shift in a small-town convenience store where nothing ever seemed to happen. But sometimes the most terrifying stories begin exactly this way, when no one is watching, when no one expects anything unusual, and when a single moment changes everything. At 2:40 a.m., the store was silent. The security cameras were recording the same aisles, the same shelves, the same buzzing fluorescent lights. And then, something broke the routine. The front door chimed, the kind of sound that should be comforting, ordinary, harmless. But no one walked in. The cashier, a 27-year-old man named Evan, looked up as if he clearly saw someone. His eyes widened. He greeted a customer who, according to the camera, did not exist. And yet, the way he spoke, the way he stepped back, it was as if he was looking directly at a person, someone standing inches from him. This moment, captured on video, would later become one of the most unsettling pieces of unexplained footage ever recorded. Because from this second on, Evan's behavior changed completely, and he would never be seen again. At first, people assumed Evan was tired. Maybe he was stressed, maybe he was distracted. But as investigators replayed the footage, it became disturbingly clear that Evan was not acting randomly. He was responding, reacting, carrying on what looked like a normal conversation with someone standing directly in front of him. He nodded. He gestured. He even laughed nervously as if trying to be polite to a customer who was making an unusual request. But every second of the footage showed the same thing. No one was there. Then something else happened. Something subtle, but impossible to ignore. Evan leaned forward, squinting, like he was trying to understand something whispered to him. The expression on his face shifted from confusion to discomfort, to fear. He stepped back. His hands trembled slightly. He looked around the store as if suddenly unsure of where he was or who he was talking to. And then he reached toward the counter, slowly, deliberately, and held out his hand, as if someone, something, was handing him an ID. The air around him seemed to change. The scene felt colder, darker, wrong. What happened next would disturb investigators for years. Evan lifted the invisible ID with both hands, staring at it for several long seconds. He tilted his head as though reading information that simply didn't exist on camera. His lips moved slightly, as if sounding out a name that no microphone could pick up. Then he froze. His entire body went still, like every muscle had locked in place. His breathing slowed. His eyes, wide, unblinking, seemed to focus on something just above the counter, something only he could see. Security experts who later analyzed the footage said it looked like the moment someone realizes they're not alone, but not in a human sense. Evan slowly lowered the invisible ID. He whispered something short, almost apologetic. Then he nodded firmly, like he had just agreed to instructions he couldn't refuse. He turned toward the back hallway, an area that led to the storage room, the restroom, and the emergency exit. Except the exit had been locked for hours and monitored by an alarm. Evan didn't grab his coat. He didn't take his phone. He didn't hesitate. He walked with purpose, as if being led. And once he crossed that hallway doorway, the cameras never captured him again. When morning staff arrived at 6 a.m., the first thing they noticed was the silence. The store was open, the lights were on, the register was untouched. But Evan was gone. They checked the restroom. Empty. They checked the storage room. Empty. The back door was still locked from the inside, alarm active, undisturbed. No one had come in or out since the previous night. And yet, Evan had vanished. Police reviewed the footage dozens of times. The moment he walked down that hallway, his figure simply dissolved into the shadows. No struggle, no noise, no movement after that. Experts tried to explain it. Maybe he slipped out unseen. Maybe there was a blind spot in the camera. Maybe the footage had been tampered with. But every theory fell apart. The timestamp was intact. The audio logs matched. The alarm never triggered. It was as if Evan walked into that hallway and stepped out of reality. Even more disturbing, right before his disappearance, the camera picked up something else. A faint static distortion, almost like a shape, tall, thin, hovering behind him for a fraction of a second. Too fast to identify. Too strange to ignore. Detectives began searching for physical clues, anything that could explain where Evan went. They found his wallet under the counter. They found his jacket still hanging on the hook. They found his phone untouched on a shelf. But in the storage room, tucked behind a stack of cleaning supplies, they found something that made the entire investigation take a darker turn. A receipt printed at 2:44 a.m. A receipt for a purchase that never happened. A receipt with no items listed. Just a single line. Customer 0. The timestamp matched the moment the invisible customer entered. Experts from multiple agencies examined the printer. There was no malfunction, no glitch, no reason for a blank receipt to generate itself. Even more disturbing, the security system logged the door opening at 2:43 a.m., the exact second Evan greeted the unseen visitor. But there was no motion detected, no heat signature, nothing. It was like a door had opened for something that didn't exist. And yet, whatever it was, Evan interacted with it, responded to it, followed it. What kind of presence can open a door but leave no trace? To this day, no one has an answer. For weeks, the town was filled with patrol cars, search teams, helicopters, and volunteers combing through every inch of the surrounding woods and neighborhoods. They found nothing. Tracking dogs brought to the area lost Evan's scent at the store's back hallway, the exact spot where he vanished on camera. It was as if he had evaporated. Detectives expanded their search to nearby highways, motels, abandoned buildings. No sightings, no witnesses, no unusual activity. And yet, several residents reported something deeply unsettling. A few people living near the store said they heard their front doors chime, like someone had walked in, only to find their homes empty. Others reported seeing a tall, shadowy figure lingering near the convenience store late at night. One woman swore she heard someone whisper her name in the store parking lot when she was completely alone. Every lead died within hours. Every clue made the situation stranger. And soon, investigators began to shift from searching for a missing person to trying to understand what kind of force they were even dealing with. The online community exploded with theories. Some were logical, some were impossible, but all of them carried the same disturbing undercurrent. Whatever happened to Evan was not normal. Some believed he suffered a sudden psychological break, seeing things that weren't there. But psychologists reviewing the footage disagreed. His reactions were consistent, calm, purposeful. He wasn't hallucinating. He was communicating. Others suggested a home invasion or kidnapping staged to look supernatural. But there was no evidence of force, no one else on camera, no doors opened, no alarms tripped. More extreme theories suggested something darker, an entity that could manipulate perception, appear to one person while remaining invisible to others, and possibly lure its target away. One investigator, speaking anonymously, said, "Whatever he was looking at, he was afraid to refuse." Even more chilling, several experts noted how Evan's posture changed seconds before he walked down the hallway. His shoulders dropped, his breathing slowed, and he nodded just once, as if obeying an instruction. Not a human command, something else. Something that understood him and knew he would follow. Years have passed since Evan disappeared. The store has changed owners, the hallway has been remodeled, the security system replaced. Yet many employees say the same thing. When the store gets quiet, especially late at night, they hear the door chime, but no one walks in. The new cameras have also captured strange anomalies. Brief static flickers, shadows that stretch too far, shapes that move just out of frame. Nothing clear, nothing solid, but enough to make workers avoid the night shift. As for the original footage, it's still archived in a secure evidence room. Investigators refuse to release the final seconds publicly. But one detail leaked years later. The very last frame, before the screen glitches, shows something standing in the hallway behind Evan. Not fully visible, not human. A figure with long, thin limbs, a head tilted unnaturally, and what looks like a hand reaching toward him. Then the video cuts out. Some believe Evan is still out there, somewhere beyond the world we see. Others believe whatever visited the store that night wasn't a visitor at all, but something waiting. And maybe still waiting.